This is a podcast or something like that. You know, I was thinking maybe I wouldn't do this today. I said, okay, maybe I'll just push it to tomorrow. I'll do another Monday pod, right? I did it last week. You know, people dealt with it. They tolerated it. I didn't get many angry letters, you know. People basically just put up with it. I could do that again. I could do another Monday pod. Who's going to say shit? Who is going to say crap to me? You know what I mean? That was sort of my thought process. Who is going to say crap to me? It just over and over in my mind. Just who is going to say crap to me? And then it just became sort of a melody. It was kind of, there was a whole montage. Bravo, Vince. And, but then I was like, you know what? It's kind of a nice part of my Sunday. Okay. And here's where things get interesting. Because the last few weeks I've been like, I'm not in the mood to record the pod. You know, you've heard me talking about that if you've listened. It's been an ongoing theme. I'm like, let's explore the nature of the concept of obligation. You know, let's explore what does it mean to feel like you have to do something. You know. Clearly, you know, going into how I would feel that way in relation to the VJP. But, you know, today the tides are starting to turn. We could say the tides are starting to turn because, you know, on a day like today, this is for me what I would consider a busy Sunday where I have two things on my schedule other than the VJP because I don't write that on my schedule anymore. It's so ingrained. I did write it on my calendar when I first started. I wrote down record VJ, or I just wrote VJ on my calendar. I have a few different calendars. I have like a work calendar, but then I have my own calendar that's a physical piece of paper that I put on my wall. It's like art paper, just big blank piece of paper that I break down into like usually like 4 months of days going top to bottom, you know, like a 7-day calendar. And then it's really helpful to see the long view. I recommend that to clients sometimes and friends and enemies, honestly. If you're my enemy, you should get one of those calendars too, you know, so you could organize your life and stop being an enemy of a good person. But I did write it on my calendar at first. I would say VJ. Probably after 4 or 5 weeks, it was like, yeah, I don't need to write this anymore. It's my Sunday thing. It's my Sunday swag. You know, I started calling it my Sunday swag. SS. I got SS tattooed on my forehead. That's why I haven't recorded a video in a while. But you know, so yeah, these last few weeks I've been like, you know, I kind of don't feel like it, and sometimes that's because I have other things to do on a Sunday, and I'm like, it's like, you know, it's a solid hour and a half when you take into account uploading it on YouTube and Patreon, and that's not a long time, but it's like, you know, it's something you have to do on God's day. I mean, it's God's day, you know what I mean? So, I grew up a Roman Catholic. I talk about that a lot. That's why my channel is themed around, Roman Catholic things and, advertising the church of, Latter-day Roman Catholics. But no, so anyways, today I'm just like, you know, I kind of want to do this. And the other stuff I've had to do, you know, I just had like an errand. I had to pick something up. And then I was like, later today, I'm going to meeting up with some friends, doing like a sort of just like hangout, but you know, like we're trying to get like a weekly thing going where we just chill in this like, in this friend's house. But I just, you know, and for me, these are fun things. I like, you know, my Sunday is still a relaxing, good time. But I just, you know, sometimes it's like, oh gosh, I have things to do. Because in addition to any things I have to do, I like to, you know, use my free time for art or reading and stuff like that. So, you know, I can't get enough time to just like sit and paint or draw or stuff like that. I get a lot of joy out of that. So when I have things on my calendar, sometimes it's like, the verbal journal is like a little bit of a chore now because I have these other things that I have to /want to do. But But no, I was making fun of myself with the whole like the idea of like talking about obligation in like an abstract way when you're really just not wanting to do the thing you're doing that day, because that is a funny idea. But I am joking about that because I do think it's actually an interesting concept. Like the way in our mind, what is happening neurochemically when we feel like we want to do something versus have to do something. Like there's probably a literal difference in what's happening like in our brains. But yeah, so, and I think about that because sometimes I think you talk about framing, how you frame an idea or how you frame an activity or something in your mind. And I just wonder if there's a real physical material basis for that. And, like I think we all have this happen where we have things that we sign up to do because we want to do them. But then when it comes around, you feel like you have to do them. So it's like, what happened there? And how do we get back on track to remember that we want to do this? I think there are a lot of ways, but I think, what I do and I think what some other people do is you just remind yourself, I mean, I don't have to do this if I don't want to. You know what I mean? Like most of the time it's like you don't literally have to do things. You don't literally have to go to work if you don't want to. Like you're going to encounter probably consequences of it, but like you are choosing what you want to do at every given moment, in some sense. And in some sense, you're not, This is a long introduction. I don't know if we need to get into I almost said goodwill, free will. This is a solid 7-minute introduction. That's 7 minutes before even getting into the podcast proper, as they say. And it's going to be a good one today. Hypothetically, it might not be too extensive, but it will be very intensive. Speaking of extensive versus not extensive, did I have a point that I was going to get to that I didn't get to? No, the point was just that I'm in a good mood today and I just feel like doing the podcast because I thought about not doing it and then I was like, no, I want to, like, something feels good about getting this done. And I do feel like it's like the whole, I started this podcast because I wanted to. I was like, I should probably do something for people who support the channel, but I just do it because I want to, and that's how I did it. So it is kind of interesting to just sit and talk to yourself. And one thing I was like sort of joking about on the previous episode or two is like the idea of spreading the verbal journal movement. And I am joking, but like kind of not. If anyone listening, if you ever wanted to, like you could do your own verbal journal. I don't know. You should call it like, I don't know, verbal, like some play off of verbal journal, I guess. Or you could just call it a verbal journal. But it would be kind of cool. It would be kind of cool because it is like, yeah, I like the idea of like doing a creative activity in like a specific way that then other people want to do it. Like cubism, people just came about and were, Brock, and that other guy, they just started painting in this style and, other people started doing it. So if we just started podcasting in this style solo, it doesn't have to be solo actually, but I guess it's more about the spirit of the pod that makes it a VJP. It's about the spirit of the P that makes it a VJP. But okay, so that's all I wanted to say to introduce the episode. It wasn't intended to take 9 minutes. But yeah, just the idea that I'm in a good mood and am happy to be doing the pod today. Because it always feels good, to get it off your chest, to figure out what's on your chest, to excavate your chest, basically, is how I often refer to podcasting. But no, what I did is, speaking of intensive versus extensive, last episode was only 32 minutes and 4 seconds extensive. So that was episode 60. Welcome to episode 61, by the way, of the Verbal Journal podcast. Thank you for listening and supporting the channel, theoretically, with money. So episode 60 was 32 minutes and 4 seconds. Now that's pretty short. You know what I mean? That's pretty short for an episode of a podcast. That's like, damn, I gave this guy $5 a month, And this week he only did a 32-minute episode. You know what I mean? That's like you start calling your representative and you start sort of filing a petition with the Better Business Bureau. Like that's sort of the point where I think people were at. So it was interesting to me and it got me thinking. So I contacted Reginald, the data guy. Reginald is the data guy, obviously, for the podcast here. And I'll pause for applause. Okay, so Reginald has a message here for me about it says here, episode extensiveness survey, a survey. That seems like a typo, Reginald. I feel like you put in survey and then forgot to take it out in the later. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay, so Reginald took a look at where last episode stands. Is it the shortest episode that I've ever done? That's the question I had. And Reginald is paid a lot of money to answer those types of questions. So 32 minutes and 4 seconds. Now guess, okay, I've done 60 episodes up until today. Do you think 32 minutes was the shortest, almost the shortest, the middle? Let's take a guess. Okay, well, you're wrong. Or maybe you're right. I don't know what you said, but your odds are you're probably wrong. Last episode was the 6th shortest episode. Okay, so the 6th shortest. So out of 60, that means it's in the 90th percentile. It's in the top 10% of shortest. I guess you could say the bottom. I guess because it's short, it's bottom, not top. I don't know. It's in the lowest 10% of lengthwise episodes. Fuck. By the way, I'm back to sitting. I was standing because I was in a lot of pain last week. Luckily, it got better. I didn't have to go to the ER or anything. It was like because it was really bad. It was quite bad. When I recorded the podcast on Monday, it was still quite bad from the day before. It started getting better Tuesday though, and I was able to work, and it was, it's just I have muscular tension, but before it was like pain. So it's better, and I'm sitting, and I still need to stretch more, and I'm gonna keep icing and taking ibuprofen and stuff. But it's it's better. So anyways, I'm sitting. So last episode was the 6th shortest. Okay, so 32 minutes. What is the shortest one? You're probably asking yourself. Well, it was episode 40, which was a nighttime episode, very rare. Reginald, do you how many nighttime episodes have there been, Reginald, if you don't mind me asking? You don't have that. Okay, that seems like one you should have. Yeah, do you want to write that down right now? You're telling me to email you about it? Okay, I can email you. That seems like a kind of strange thing to make me do while we're live. Okay, what's your email? reginaldtheDataGuy@gmail.com. .gov? That's my joke. Okay. Yeah, how many night episodes? Yeah, okay, well, you could just tell me about that, I guess, next time if you want. Yeah, I thought you were going to have that. It was going to be a really good moment for the pod. Okay, so yeah, that episode 40 was only 22 minutes and 49 seconds, and that was back in October. Then there's a 25-minute episode 33, a 29-minute episode 39, a 30-minute episode 29, and a 25-minute and 25-second episode. How many, Reginald, can you tell me that too? Here, I'm going to add that to the email. How many episode lengths where the minutes are the same as the seconds? So that's episode 14 was 25 minutes and 25 seconds. So could you please tell me next episode the answer to that? Well, you don't think that's interesting? You think that's going to be the only one? You don't know. You don't know that. Look at the data. You're not Reginald the a priori guy. You're Reginald the empirical guy, right? Anyways, that 25-minute and 25-second episode, I'm being told by Reginald, this is the qualitative data side of it, was when I had been editing all weekend for the Breaking Bad video. That was back in April of last year. And I had been editing all weekend I remember that. I edited like 10 plus hours Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And that was not even all the editing for the Breaking Bad video. That was just a large chunk of it. I think that was like half of it, maybe. Or maybe it was more. I think that was about half of it. And that's just editing the video. That's when you've done so many other hours of work. It's beyond comprehension. But that's the really exciting part of video making, where you start seeing it come together. Anyways, thank you, Reginald, for that. Okay, so the 6th shortest episode. Last episode was the 6th shortest episode. Very interesting. Well, let's get into this episode now that we've sort of processed things related to last episode. I think that's probably a good time to move on. Okay, so I wanted to talk briefly before we get into the meat of this episode, the vegan meat of this episode. I wanted to talk briefly. I talked a number of episodes ago. I think it's in the title. I talked about Draymond Green, the basketball player on the Golden State Warriors, being in a really funny commercial where in the commercial, he commented on the real life situations he's been going through and causing for himself. He's a very aggressive, violent basketball player, and he's been in many altercations, even with his own teammates. And he's suffered a lot of consequences for it professionally, but some would argue not sufficient consequences, and which is why it's happened so many times. And he's sort of the reason I couldn't even watch the Golden State Warriors anymore, even though they had players I liked. And I also just stopped watching basketball. But anyways, I found that commercial hilarious. And that one was from I think last month. I saw it during March Madness, and I think it was new. But I recently saw him in another commercial, which is apparently, and I could be wrong about this. This is just from a really brief search. But I think this new one I saw is not new. It's from 6 months ago. So it's previous to the one I mentioned. And I don't know if it comments on his problems in his behavior and what he's done. But I thought it would be fun to watch because that was a great segment. We had a lot of people really liked that segment. They wrote in, they said it was quote funny, for me to watch a commercial and talk about it on the pod, So let's check this out. This is Loose Ball, the 2024 Kia Telluride X Pro. So this is, as soon as I saw a commercial with Draymond Green, I was like, I got to watch this on the podcast. This has 5.7 million views, and it's posted on YouTube 6 months ago. That's a lot of views. I guess because they're when they advertise it places, not like on TV, but are they using the YouTube video online when they're advertising it? Is it embedded? Anyways, let's check it out. Let's watch it. You're not going to watch it, but I'm going to watch it. Okay, so we're in the forest on a trail that a car could drive on, but it's still a trail in the forest sort of. And the Kia is parked with its lights sort of on low, but it's a daytime. It's bright out, but it's like a speckled light path. And we're seeing the car white parked, and then person's legs in front of it walking towards a fresh Wilson basketball in the foreground. It's a nice shot. And Draymond Green walks over to the ball, picks it up. There's birds in the background. He picks it up. He looks at it. He's wearing a nice white sweater and khakis in the forest. Actually, is he in front of a green screen? Is it just because I'm pausing it? Oh my God, no, he is definitely in front of a green screen. Holy shit. Oh yeah, no, just something about it feels he's 100%. Is it the light or something's just not? Yeah. And then now he looks back at the car and there's a wolf in front of it, looking at him, and Draymond Green's eyeing the wolf, and now they're baring its teeth, and then Draymond Green smiles, a kind of creepy, evil smile, and then the car is now driving through the forest quickly. What does the license plate say? Hold on. So here he's like engaging aggressively with a wolf. I can't read the license plate. Whatever, it doesn't matter. And now the car's driving through a forest. Car commercials are so dumb. Like, who is this influencing people to buy? I mean, I guess on subconscious levels. But I wonder if commercials work. I really, really wonder if commercials work, or if all these marketing people are just lying to their bosses. So now he's in the car, he's smiling and driving. It's driving, up a hill. And then he passes the ball to a kid outside of what looks like a museum. It's maybe, I don't know, just a cool modern house. And then him and this young girl are now playing basketball. She takes a really bad shot and throws the ball down the hill.
You don't have to go with me this time.
And then he says she'll have to go with him because he wants to expose the girl to the wolf that he just encountered, I guess. Oh, and the girl says something about wolves. Hold on.
You don't have to go with me this time.
I think it's what about the wolves? But then he says,
Don't forget about the grizzlies.
Kia, movement that inspires. And then it's Kia, movement that inspires. That is the strangest. That is actually very strange. Think about how different that commercial is from the one we talked about. What is it? The was it Sprint or something? Draymond Green commercial, AT&T. Yeah. I think it was AT&T for sure. Yeah. Draymond Green's Choice, AT&T, which is all about how you have to make good choices, and it connects his struggle with that to somehow AT&T giving you like choices. Oh my gosh, this Kia commercial he's in with 5.7 million views has 117 likes and 57 comments. I'm gonna comment view botted video ? Yeah, top comment, surprised he didn't put the wolf in a chokehold. And then I'm proud of him, he usually assaults wolves. Don't forget about the Grizzlies. That's an NBA reference. Yeah, my bad. Yeah. I mean, his career is in shambles. Like, it's just shocking to me that he's doing these commercials. Like, it's just really bizarre, because usually a commercial is like using someone's positive image to sell something. But here it's almost like he's using the commercial to try to improve his image. It's like, what's going on here? How did this company... Are they getting a really good deal? Is he like, I'll do it for $1,000? You know what I mean? Or he's like just giving them like a really low. But anyways, it is strange that this video has 5 million views and 117 likes. I guess it must just be embedded a lot of places or something, or it's view botted. I'm gonna delete my view botted video comment. That's stupid. I'm deleting that. Okay. Anyways, that was really interesting. So 6 months ago, he was in a commercial where he's facing off with a wolf. 6 months later, he's in a commercial where he's apologizing for AT&T and talking about how you need to make good choices or else you'll end up like him. So crazy how things go sometimes, All right, next up, we have the Grinds My Gears segment, which I haven't really had anything grinding my gears lately, so people were kind of upset. It's like you just introduce this new segment, do it like 4 times, and then have nothing for it. Like, what are you trying to do? Give us attachment problems, That's, I think, how people felt. But no, I'm not trying to do that. I did think of something to grind my gears this week. So I saw some stand-up comedy recently, and I was just thinking stand-up comedians being self-deprecating when a joke doesn't land. Like, I understand self-deprecating humor. I'm not trying to... But, like, the self-conscious, like, well, I'm never going to do that joke again. You know what I mean? Like, how many times have I seen comedians do that so much? Like, when they're pros, they usually do this stuff less, but not necessarily all. And I saw a comedy thing where there were like 5 different comedians, like one after the other. And I swear almost every single one had like jokes, and sometimes multiple jokes. And it feeds off itself because it's not a good vibe. So you're going to keep getting bad vibes. Like when a joke doesn't land, yeah, sometimes you have to say something about it. For sure. You have to acknowledge it. I get that. But I don't know. There's other approaches than being self-deprecating or like that one sucked. Sorry about that. You know what I mean? Like maybe just pretend it did really well or something. Or I don't know. Just like um sometimes just ignore it. Maybe I just think that can be funny too. Or maybe do other reactions with your face or body. I just think it's so painful to hear people make all these jokes about you know about how their jokes aren't working. It's the joke that's self-aware about the joke just not landing. That the thing you're saying, it's not a joke really, but the reflection that you're coming up with, it's not going to be as funny as the joke. And then you get these pity laughs, and you don't like it, and no one likes it. It's just so bad. Anyways, let's get into the meat of this episode, because this is the chess episode. That's right. I didn't expect to talk for so long about other stuff, so that's just bonus. But this is the chess episode. There's a number of interesting chess subjects I wanted to talk about that just came across my desk, my chess desk. So let's just get into it. So the candidates tournament ended. I talked about that last week because it ended on Sunday, I think, of last week. And so Gukesh Domoraju is in the World Championship playing against Ding Liren. Because Gukesh won the candidates tournament. So that's the hardest chess tournament that exists, basically. And yeah, he won it. He did amazingly, and the last day was cool. I talked about it. Okay, anyways, so someone who didn't win the chess tournament is Hikaru Nakamura. He's one of the top chess players in the world, but he is the top chess streamer in the world. He's famous for streaming. He considers himself, I think, even more so a streamer than, but I don't know. I don't listen to him that much, but he's great at chess, and he's an entertaining streamer. But he lost. He could have tied for first in the last round. He won. I gotta give him credit. I'm not a fan, but like he was doing poorly in the tournament, and then I think he won 3 games in a row, which is extremely fucking nuts to do. It's so hard to win. Like some of those rounds, you're lucky to get a draw. So to win 3 games in a row, I mean, I think 2 of them might have been as black, which you have the disadvantage because you're going second. I forget if 1 or 2 of them was black, but he came back, and it was really incredible. And then even on the last day, he was playing against Gukesh. So if he had won, he would have won the tournament. But he drew. Yeah. If he won, he would have. Yeah, if he won, because he was at 8 points and Gukesh was at 8.5 or something. And then, so yeah, if he won, he would have had 9, and Gukesh would have had 8.5. So, anyways, so what's interesting is that after this tournament, which Nakamura is always like, I don't care about, classical chess. I don't care about the candidates. I don't care about the world championship. I'm just a streamer, And he is sort of like a businessman. I don't know. I don't watch him. But this is wild. And if you're a chess fan, you probably already know what I'm about to say. But like, so after this candidates ended, he's streaming and he's doing gambling streams, and he's never done that before. And he's spoken out against gambling streams, and I've spoken out against gambling. I think I don't think it's like unethical to gamble, but I think promoting gambling is like promoting addiction. So I don't think it's like wrong for people to gamble responsibly, but I do think a lot of gambling companies and gambling interests are very much unethical because their business model relies on promoting addiction. That doesn't mean I think every instance of gambling is unethical. But anyways, I do absolutely think that streamers who stream to really any audience, because all streaming audiences are predominantly kids, in my opinion. But definitely when you know that you have a huge number of kids in your audience, when you're streaming gambling to them, I don't care what you're saying. I don't care how many times you say gambling is bad. You are doing unethical things, and you should be ashamed of yourself. And according to Nakamura's audience, who is horribly upset by his decision to do this, he used to really speak down about other streamers for streaming gambling. That's the top comment on Reddit, 3,600 points on this comment. I remember him going off on other streamers for this. And apparently he streams on Stake, which is or like on Kick, I guess, which is a Stake Kick is a streaming website which is owned or associated with Stake, which is a gambling website. And so it's just wild. I mean, to live in these times, it's a streaming website owned by a gambling website. So all the streamers on the website clearly have to gamble. And to see this guy, I don't care if he's like not my favorite chess player. He's one of the top players in the world. To see him in this screenshot with a bunch of little candy symbols on the screen, and it's like it's so clearly for kids. Like it's literally like a jackpot sort of gambling game. It's so dumb. And it's like so clearly designed for children. I didn't even notice that until looking at this now. But I mean, and this is Hikaru's first gambling stream. So like, how do you not have the self-awareness to be like, maybe right after I lose to candidates is not a good time to be hypocritical about something I've spoken out against, you know? Anyways, his audience has completely become extremely upset with him, as they should be, because he has no integrity. So people are very upset. He's doing it for money because he likes money, and I've never liked him. He's always seemed like just someone I don't really relate to. He sort of seems like a tech bro. He seems like the kind of guy who would just like Gary Vee or something like that. I don't know. It's just he doesn't. I also don't like his chess playing. I like his on the board playing a lot of the time, but I don't like his sort of style at the board and his manner, and I just don't like his style. I don't like most chess players' style. You know, it's like you're not gonna. Yeah, you don't. I like about half of them, I would say, and then half of them, are strange. But that's okay. It's okay. You don't have to be a fan of everybody. It's a sport. You only have to like a few of the people, and that makes it fun. Nakamura is not the first chess player to, Magnus Carlsen, the highest rated chess player and the former world chess champion, 5-time world chess champion, arguably the best player of all time, was for several years and might still be sponsored by Unibet, which is a sports betting and online casino, online bingo and poker gambling company. So in January 2020, he announced his collaboration as the global ambassador for 2 years. So maybe he is not anymore. I don't like Magnus Carlsen's sort of personality much, but he does have more sort of class, and I'd say he's just classier and has like a European sort of sense of humor, and I like his vibe a little bit more than Hikaru for sure. And his playing is obviously amazing, and he's always exciting and interesting. But I don't love all his decisions and every judgment call he makes. And I do think he's egotistical. But I mean, how could you not be? I don't know. But and then their tagline for their collaboration is "Luck is no coincidence." Okay, I mean that's kind of interesting. And I said it at the time on streams and stuff. I thought this was horrible, and this is the type of judgment. This is like this is probably one of the main things I dislike about Magnus Carlsen. This might be the main thing I dislike about him. Followed very tightly in second by the fact that he will not update his Twitter to stop saying that he is world chess champion. It's been almost a full year. I have it on my calendar. I guess I don't have Twitter anymore. I don't know where I'm going to post about it. But he will not remove it from his bio. I'm not logged in right now, but he hasn't. I check it periodically, and he still calls himself the world chess champion. And on his YouTube channel, he does as well. He calls himself the world chess champion. It says, "This is the official YouTube home of the world chess champion." He is not. He is not. And he would never publish an article calling himself that. Like, it's just weird that he still calls it, like, that's not what he is. So those two things are the main things I dislike about him. And yeah, being sponsored by a gambling company is in my mind very pathetic. I'm sorry. Make your money a different way. I think that's unethical. I think it's addictive, and you shouldn't promote gambling companies. These companies are making money off people's addictions. It's not cool. So, so this is not an anti-Nakamura thing. What was really funny is FIDE, the global chess organization, came out. The CEO of FIDE, Emil Sutovsky, who's FIDE's just got so many issues. Like if you know about FIFA's problems in football and soccer, FIDE has a lot of similar problems. But Emil, the CEO, posted on Twitter, "We had our disagreements with Hikaru in the past, and we ought to have them in the future, but the campaign against him is unfair and hypocritical. Betting platforms were promoted by leading athletes on numerous occasions. It's not a taboo even for federations, let alone individuals." So everybody's response to this is... yes, let's have FIDE come in and tell us about morals and ethics. And people are like, yeah, someone commenting, Magnus has been sponsored by Unibet. Someone says, how is it hypocritical? I will criticize other leading athletes too. But it is funny. I can't find the comment here, but someone was just like, yeah, you're in the wrong when FIDE is coming out to agree with you. Like, no one asked them to agree. They just wanted to come out and be like, we agree that it doesn't matter who you take your money from. Yeah, that is so true, actually. FIDE's just like, yo, actually, yes. Can we talk some more about how it does not matter where money comes from? So... okay, so what else? There was one more thing on that. No, that was it on the Hikaru situation. So that's that. More chess situation. This is just this is a chess tournament going on. Where is this going on? Sardinia? Is that what it says? Sardinia. That must be so cool. That's an island off of Greece, right? Beautiful. Very old history. Wow. Ruins from 1500 BC. Beautiful. Yeah. So yeah, there's a chess tournament going on there. And one of the top players in the world, Jordan van Forest, one of the top Dutch players and an amazing player who's often in the super tournaments that I'll check out, it was playing in the first round, playing black against an FM, which is I forget what it's called, FIDE Master, I guess, rated 2200. So Jordan is 2600. This guy's 2200. And so that's a huge difference. When you're 400 rating points higher, you have a huge likelihood to win. And you lose a lot of rating points if you lose, relatively. But Jordan lost. And I just thought that was really cool. I wanted to look at it. This is a game where a 2200 rated player beat a 2600 rated player. So I'm just going to go through it really quick. It's a king's pawn opening. So white is the lower rated player. They traded a pawn. They traded knights. White is just kind of developing pieces, getting a good position, trading a set of pawns, offering a queen trade, declined, trading bishops. White's offering another queen trade, accepted. So now white's just kind of neutralized material, offers a bishop trade, accepted. Wow, he's just trading everything down. Trades. Oh, he gives up a free pawn, white. Interesting, but then he gets another pawn in return. So, and then he gets two pawns. So but he's not winning yet, but that's a great thing to do. You sort of give up a free pawn, but you know that you'll be able to make things tricky and somehow get two pawns. That's a good way to do it. So now we're getting into an endgame. Only rook and a knight and 5 pawns against rook and a knight and 4 pawns. So white just needs to keep this pawn advantage, and that could be the win. That's all it really takes. Gets another pawn. And wow, holding it all down. This is now just gathering material, and it's over. Wow. Amazing win. Jordan was kind of off his game, I got to be honest. Yeah, but hey, wow, amazing. That's the type of game that 2200 rated player, I can almost guarantee you, that's the biggest win they've ever had. Like, that's just amazing. Like, they'll remember that for the rest of their life. That is an amazing win to beat Jordan van Forest. That's like a life-changing thing. Jordan plays against Magnus and all the top guys. So very cool. Now for personal chess news, I have been playing a lot of bullet chess, and I broke 1700 again. Bullet chess is where you each get 1 minute. I'm going to play a game right now. I broke 1700 So I'm playing a game right now, and I'm now 1720, which is just quite a good rating. So I'm developing normally. These games are so fast. So I'm already 10 moves into the game. I have 50 seconds left. It's just like you got to play very quickly. You have to use a mouse. You learn that very quickly. They traded pieces. Oh, I lost a pawn. So I'm down a pawn, but that's, they could have just taken a bishop and they didn't realize it. So that would have been big. But yeah, see, being down a pawn is not a big deal. A bishop is a much bigger deal. They're going to if they don't castle. They didn't castle, so now I'm preventing them from castling. But yeah, I'm sort of just, this is kind of a weird segment. I've done it before where I play a chess game and you're just listening to me play. I think it's kind of flawed, obviously, but it's kind of, some things are beautiful, right? When they're flawed, right? Someone said that. So I'm just kind of vibing here. You can't see the game, but then again, who cares, right? But yeah, I'm sort of pinning their knight, so it's a little bit trapped. Now I'm attacking their queen. So I'm sort of just trying to attack them on a few different bases or bases. I don't know which is the right way to say that. Taking a pawn. And now they're attacking me in a lot of different ways, but I took their rook. That's big. Oh, I just won because the only way they can block is with their queen. They just totally dropped. And they resigned. Okay, so that was exciting. But yeah, I broke 1700 in bullet. I broke 1750, but then I just dropped to 1720, I guess. Another piece of chess news for this chess episode is there's an interesting change I noticed to future candidates tournaments qualification. So the candidates tournaments I was talking about where the winner plays in the World Chess Championship against the current winner. So in future candidates tournaments, FIDE changed it so that the runner-up in the World Championship, usually the loser automatically makes the candidates tournament the next year. So if you lose the World Chess Championship, as like Jan Nepomniachtchi did against Ding Liren, you're automatically in the candidates tournament. And it was sad to see Jan lose. He was so close to winning this tournament and playing in the World Championship for a third time, but he didn't. So what FIDE did was they changed this. So no longer will the loser in the World Championship, I like how they call it the runner-up. There's two people, like you lose. But the loser will no longer automatically get to play in the candidates. Instead, they have to navigate the qualification process. I think that is so stupid. It's just they make all these new ways for people to qualify. It's just ridiculous bureaucracy. And then there's a clip of Gukesh, who is now in the next World Championship against Ding Liren. There's a clip of him from the former World Championship reacting to the winning move of the match, where it was just this amazing moment where Jan was playing Ding, and Ding was black, and it was this drawn position, and everyone thought it was going to be a draw, but then Ding played this rook g6, pinning his own rook, but in a way that gave him the long-term advantage when Jan misplayed in a few ways. And so here's a clip of Gukesh, who's going to be playing Ding for the World Championship, reacting to that moment live. So I'm going to watch that. Let's see Gukesh reacting live to rook g6. Rook g6, a legendary move. So let's see. Gukesh is on this. It's, I believe, the Chess Base India broadcast, it looks like, but or maybe a different YouTube broadcast. But okay, let's see. Is the audio on? Here we go.
Little did we have imagined that we would go to Blitz because I really
Oh, yeah. So this is like the last round. This is they're playing rapid games. So this is a rapid tiebreaker for an even match, right? If I remember correctly. And if this is a draw, they go to blitz games, and the World Championship is going to be decided by blitz. So everyone is emotionally getting ready for the World Championship to be decided by blitz. But then Ding says, "No, I'm going to win with black in this rapid game right now." Let's see. Let's see how Gukesh reacts.
Yeah, at least I didn't expect 4 draws the way this match has been going.
and that too the draws were not dull at all. Yeah, someone
It was 4 rapid games, I think they did.
Played rook g6, he played rook g6.
Oh, Gukesh, that's him reacting. Wow.
extra pawn. But what about H4?
Whoa, that's so cool.
I can't play it.
He's like Gukesh's face, he's like so respectful. I'm gonna watch that again. He's like, whoa, he played rook g6.
And that too the draws were not dull at all. Yeah, someone
He played rook g6, he played rook g6.
what?
Whoa, his expression is so cool. He's so full of like respect and awe.
Oh, Ding is like, I can't play anymore now.
Wow. Wow. So Gukesh is just like taking it all in.
Four also doesn't have a threat yet.
Oh, he didn't play H4. He played.
Whoa. So yeah,
Ding is like 30. Unbelievable. Maybe we.
yeah, they're seeing now that Ding has this really good idea of pushing
23. H4 23.
a pawn on the opposite side of the board and just like, whoa, it's just really cool to see Gukesh's face. And then right, Ding offered a queen trade in this almost like forced way that would transpose into a winning position for him. Just an amazing fucking way to win the World Chess Championship. So, okay, that was cool. That was cool to see Gukesh. I mean, it's just very... Oh, yeah, he's like, oh, my God. They're going to watch Ding win the World Championship. He's watching... He's like, oh, my God. Yo, I can't believe they have this clip. It's over, and Ding found the sequence. That was the coolest segment, and Gukesh is blown away. I can't believe we have video footage of the guy who's about to challenge for the world. Like, that's such a cool time to live in. Can you imagine, like, 100 years ago, like, to get to see publicly, you know, the guy who's now going to be challenging for the title, reacting to the previous title challenge. So very cool, super fun. And last thing on the chess segment is of the chess episode is that for this upcoming championship match, FIDE has now put out a call for bids. I guess because they didn't know who the challenger would be, they didn't bid for locations, you know, and sponsorships and all that. So the 2024 World Championship is going to be the reigning world champion Ding Liren against the youngest challenger in chess history, Gukesh Domoraju. So there's a bidding procedure. FIDE is now opening a bidding procedure. It's going to be from November 20th to December 15th. Okay, cool. The FIDE fee. So the minimum. Hold on. Here are the bidding provisions. The minimum total budget of the event is $8,500,000 Wow, minimum total budget. Minimum prize fund is $2,500,000. The FIDE fee, wow, is $1,100,000. Wow, that's a pretty good fee for FIDE, huh? I guess that's why they call it FIDE. Payment for commercial sponsorship and broadcasting rights will be specified according to bidders' proposals. The organizers shall respect the rights of the FIDE sponsors and partners, including for the video broadcast. Wow. You have to indicate the exact breakdown of the budget by item, including proposals for payments to FIDE for the commercial and sponsorship rights, payment for the broadcasting rights. Wow. Oh my God. A signed copy shall be submitted as an email message to the FIDE Secretariat to office@fide.com no later than May 31st, 2024. So get those bids in. Wow. So if you want to bid on hosting the 2024 World Chess Championship, if you have like a big living room or something, write up an email to FIDE. All right, so that's it for the chess episode. I hope you enjoyed that. And before we finish up, we got the fantasy desk. So my fantasy freaking team is doing so good. I recorded on Monday last week, so I already told you that I won last week. But this week, I am doing so good. I am 43 points ahead on Sunday. And, I have another... No, never mind. And I have one pitcher throwing, so that's a good way to get points. If they have a terrible game, you can get negative points. But my opponent does not even have a pitcher throwing, which it means, sometimes if a pitcher throws an amazing game, they can get like 25 points, 30 points or something, which is just an amazing game. But that's, you can rack up. So basically, I'm going to win this. It's almost impossible for me to not win being 43 points up with these. And I'm 3 wins and 1 loss, and I'm playing the only other person in my division who's 3 wins and 1 loss. So after this, I'm going to be I'm going to be potentially, actually, if I win today, as I'm very likely going to do, because this is against the other top person in the league, not just my division, the league. So if I win today, I have the best Why can't I think of the word for this? What is it? There's a record. Yeah, it's record. I have the best record in the league. I'll be 4-1, so that would be really good. Okay, and then biography desk, not much. I finished that book about artist rivalries I was talking about. I think I talked about it. And then now I'm reading another book about art, but this one's a sort of art, and it's about art and class and the intersection of like socioeconomic studies and art studies. And before we end, let me check the mailbag. So this will be really fun. Because people write in, we get a lot of people writing in. verbaljournalpodcast@gmail.com. That's verbaljournalpodcast@gmail.com. We get a lot of people writing in. And today we have one person writing in from me. It was me. I wrote in and I sent myself an image. Thank you, Verbal Journal, for writing in. I sent myself an image of an ESPN website because there was a headline that I thought was interesting. It says, "Follow live. Broncos select Knicks. Vikings trade up for McCarthy. Falcons stun with Penix." So I just thought that was a funny headline. Falcons stun with Penix. So it's this whole thing where the team, the Falcons, already had a quarterback that they just traded for who hasn't started yet, and then they drafted a quarterback, and the quarterback's like, who they already picked is like, "I haven't even played for you. Why are you picking my replacement already?" And the replacement's name is Penix. So I just thought it was funny because I'm 11 years old and Penix is a funny word to me. So Falcons stun with Penix. So don't let a Falcon stung you with fuck. That was going to be such a good line to end the episode on, and I got my tense wrong of the word sting. Don't let a Falcon sting you with its Penix is the point that I was trying to get out there. Okay, so thanks for listening, and have a good rest of your life, and I will communicate with you henceforth and forth hence. Okay, goodbye. This is a podcast or something like that.